beaming to you from the Plastic Microphone Studios, nestled deep in the heart of Cajun country. Welcome to Fave from Fans. I'm your ever enthusiastic host, Jamie Ray, and I'm thrilled to have you join us for another episode, an exciting podcast dedicated to all things favorite. Hey, I think I'm ready. Let's dive right in and discover our 5 favorite picks from our bright guest. Today, I've invited Kathy B back to the Plastic Microphone Studios to discuss our 5 favorite Bill Paxton roles. You may remember Kathy from episode 101, where we discussed our favorite Sherlock Holmes portrayals. It was indubitable that it would happen. It was something else Sherlock Holmes. Anyway, welcome back to the show, Kathy.
Well, good evening, Jamie. I'm so happy to be back, and I'm so excited to talk about Bill Paxton.
I kind of think you are. So, what is the love for Bill Paxton? What is it about him that just gets you all Googled up?
He's from Texas, so a bit of a Southerner, I guess. So he feels like a good old boy down home, guy next door.
Right.
I've listened to a few interviews, and he doesn't sound, even though he comes from I think a pretty influential, not influential, is that the word I want? Affluent? Yes, family. I think I heard him say he's like upper middle class. He still seems down to earth. He's never seemed conceited to me in any interviews or anything like that.
Right.
And we need to talk about him because this week would have celebrated his birthday as well. He was born in May of, I don't remember
17th.
what year it was, but
1955.
So it's a perfect time to celebrate the life
is.
and career of Bill Paxton.
It is. And as you just said, he was born in Fort Worth, Texas. And he is the son of Mary Lou and John Lane, who was a businessman and an actor, as a matter of fact. So it comes to the family. Bill originally moved to LA when he was 18, and he found work working as a set dresser for Roger Corman and for New World Studios, and eventually made his debut, as so many people do, in a Roger Corman film, Crazy Mama, that was directed by Jonathan Demme. And then
Exactly.
just started going off, like he did Stripes in 81, and then he'll do several movies that we're going to talk about. The 80s were all about Bill Paxton, though he does have some really cool movies outside of them. So we're not going to get into those yet, because
And
what we're
who
going to
doesn't
do,
love the 80s?
right? Who doesn't? I mean, if you weren't born in the 80s, you wanted to be. I was born in the
Absolutely.
70s, so
Me too. But
yeah.
which means so we grew up in the real fun time of the 80s.
That's right. That's right. So there's a lot of cool things that we're going to discuss, and a lot of his great roles. But like we always do, we ask you to make a list of your 5 favorite of his roles. But because there's so many great roles, we give each other some honorable mentions. So I know I took 2 honorable mentions. I'm assuming you took at least 2, probably 3, because you absolutely love Bill Paxton.
I do. I have it. This was a hard list to narrow down to just 5 or 6 choices.
If I had a nickel for every time someone said that, I'd have like 129 nickels. It's but it's fun too, because then you get to really go back and look over it and see, oh man, what did he do, and all the different places. So anyway, totally love him. But enough of our chit chat. I say we go ahead and get started and dive right into Bill Paxton.
I was gonna say I did make it more difficult on myself because I did watch a lot more of his films that I had not seen growing up. So
yeah,
I made the choice. Yeah.
Well, I'll be interested to find out. Please tell us if one of those is something that you just recently watched for the first time, because that will be all of mine. I didn't watch anything new. I went back and watched a few things just to kind of refresh, but all of mine were already pretty well established. So we're going to see. But let's see what your honorable mentions are to get us started.
All right. Well, one that I feel like I might have seen originally maybe when it came out on Netflix or something like that. But I did not remember much about it, which was Frailty
Oh yeah.
with him and Matthew McConaughey.
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah, exactly. So I really enjoyed it. He's a religious, I don't know if you would use the word zealot, but he thinks he gets spoken to by God to
Mhm.
rid the world of demons, and he gets his children, that's not the word I want to use. He
He indoctrinates
recruits,
them. Yeah.
which very true. Yes, he definitely indoctrinates them to help him kill some of the demons.
Yeah.
Um a second one is, it's a very small part,
Hmm.
but it is very, very memorable, and that's his used car salesman self in the movie True Lies. Which I
Yeah.
have a feeling it might possibly be in your list. I'm not sure,
It
but
maybe. I mean, it's such a
it might
small
be.
role.
Right. And I was going to say, honestly, I did not remember it until I rewatched it. And then I was like, wow, this dude he's something else. He's the epitome of a used car salesman.
Simon, right?
Yes. Um, and then sadly enough, I mean, this should be in my top five, but the only reason I put
That's
it
a
as my,
quarter. You said the T word. That's a quarter.
oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Ching ching.
My five of my favorites,
Yeah.
and it's my number one honorable mention
Uh-huh.
is just only because it's a small role again, but it definitely is probably what 99% of the people know him from
Hmm.
that may have grown up in the 80s, and that is Weird Science.
Chet.
Chet, everybody loves Chet. Well, everybody loves to hate Chet.
Yes.
He is awful, and he does such a good job at being the awful big brother.
I can't agree more. Those are great, great choices. I do have to question you though, um, about your True Lies choice. You didn't remember he was in that movie?
I
Really?
had only seen True Lies like maybe once
Oh,
when it
okay.
like back when it first came out. I haven't
Oh,
watched that movie a lot of times, so
I watch that movie often. It's such a good
yeah.
movie.
And I actually did think that when I was watching, I was like, how do I not remember him from
Yeah.
this movie? Because it
But
is very quite memorable.
but as my buddy Nelson will tell you, do not buy the new 4K version of it, that's out on
Oh,
Blu-ray,
really?
because it is the transfer uses a lot of AI, and he has a whole, like, one of his biggest videos ever is about how much he hates the transfer of it,
Oh,
and
wow.
shows like some of the pictures, like the AI is being used to upscale it, and it just washes out details and stuff. So go back
This
and
is a
do like I do
slippery
and buy it on
slope.
Laserdisc. It's beautiful. All right, so I have three honorable mentions, but I've broken them into two honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is television roles. And there are two television roles which really
Okay.
have stood out. First off,
Okay.
from 1993, Tales from the Crypt. He played Billy DeLuca in People Who Live in Brass Houses. Now, this is one that I will tell you I had pretty much forgotten about, and I've been doing a rewatch. Well, with Nelson actually to do a Tales from the Crypt show, and came across that episode. And it wasn't even one of the ones I needed to watch, but when I saw it was him and Brad Dourif are in it together. It's a
Oh, I
great
love him.
episode. So if you have a chance to find that, look for it. Again, it's called People Who Live in Brass Hearses.
Oh,
And
okay.
his other role is the role of John Garrett from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Thank
I
you.
will agree with that one. I wanted to put that on my list.
Yes, he was in at least six episodes that I could find. He was a good guy. He was a bad guy. He was kind of all over the place. You didn't quite know where he stood, but you didn't care because you just wanted more screen time of him. And
Absolutely. And I was very disappointed because I wanted to go back and rewatch those episodes, but it's not streaming anywhere and I don't have it on
really,
DVD. So yeah, I couldn't find it
oh
anywhere.
wow, I thought it was probably on Disney, but I don't guess it is.
Mm-mm.
Wow,
No,
that's
it wasn't.
crazy. Yeah, that was a good show. I mean, they brought so much. I mean, we've got Ghost Rider on that show. Come on, man. You know,
I loved the whole Fitzsimmons
I did.
storyline,
Oh
but
yeah.
I'm a girl, so
Well, and the thing is that they really kept the whole MCU thing going in the background. Because you wouldn't
right,
get a movie but maybe once or twice a year, but you could sit down and watch Agents of Shield for 6 years. I think it was either
right.
5 or 6
And they
years.
tied in. They
Mm-hmm.
tied in the movies, So
Exactly.
yeah, I loved
Great.
that show.
Yeah, I will
And who
always
doesn't like,
defend that show.
is it Greg Clark or Clark Gregg? I can never remember what the order
Well, it
is.
just depends
Is
on
it
where the comma is. So either way, you're right.
You're right.
Yeah. And then my other honorable mention, I am pretty positive is not on your list. It is Severin from Near Dark. Again, 1987. Bill was on fire. Literally, he gets on fire in this movie. Um, they are just, I mean, again, this is like an aliens reunion movie. And I know you've probably never seen it, but it's got Bishop, it's got him in it, it's got Jeanette Goldstein who plays Vasquez. They're just it's such a great dark movie about these vampires who live in the underbelly, and they're kind of like a biker team. They go around. He is just horribly funny and scary at the same time. And
It's
if
funny you mentioned because I actually started watching it this morning. I haven't finished it, but
oh,
I have seen a good portion of it. I've seen like 75%. And it's
that's
got Adrian Pasdar in it who was in Heroes,
he
which I know a lot of
yeah,
people didn't like that show. I love that show.
yeah, yeah. Oh no, it was good. Well, the
No,
first season was
yeah.
incredible. After they saved the cheerleader,
Yes.
I don't know what, then they brought Sulu on, so all kind of good stuff. Yeah, that'd be a good show. But no, well,
But
I'm
yeah, I
very
have actually,
surprised then.
yeah,
I bet you're loving him though,
it
because
was,
he's such a bad boy.
I know he really is. He's kind of a vampire version of Chet, is what I
Yeah.
thought.
Very true. All right. Well, are my honorable mentions. I would then task you now. What was your number 5 favorite?
And I will say those were very good choices.
Oh,
All right,
thank you.
my number 5 favorite. It's odd. I realized when I look back at these, I kind of like every one of my choices is all kind of from a little bit of a different genre. So I'm
Oh,
happy about that.
well, he
Um,
was really good at being a different person in every. Some actors are the same guy over and over and over. He was completely different in every episode,
yes.
every
And
movie.
this one I feel is I think I enjoyed this one because we get a lighter side. I feel like he does a lot of heavy like he plays a bad guy a lot,
Hmm.
or he plays like a stern military guy, or but this one we got to hear him sing, we got to hear him make a few jokes. So do you have any idea what we might be talking about?
No, I do know. I think two movies for sure, two roles for sure that you're going to do, but I don't remember him singing.
This is a little known film called Club Dread, where he plays a
Oh,
character called Coconut Pete.
okay.
It's pretty much like a Jimmy Buffett character is what I kind of associate it as.
Uh-huh.
But he's really, I mean, we get a few laughs from him, and like I said, he sings in the movie. And apparently, I didn't realize until my research, he actually had a band. Like he was a singer of
Really?
a band with him and a friend. Yeah, let me see what the name of it
Was
was.
that one of those, what is it called? Something lizard,
Yes, Broken Lizard.
broken lizard. That's the Super Trooper guys.
Yes,
Yeah, I see
exactly.
that here. Yeah.
Martini Ranch was the name of the band he was in with a friend of his, Andrew Todd Rosenthal.
Huh.
They were a new wave musical band called Martini Ranch. But anyway, I rewatched. I had seen Club Dread years ago, and
Hmm.
probably I used to get the Netflix, the actual
Oh, the
DVDs
discs.
like
Yeah,
in
me
the
too.
mail. Yes. So me and my ex-husband watched a lot of movies like that. So that's
Mhm.
probably where the majority of my movie watching has. And so it probably whenever this was released on DVD is when I saw it. But I
Oh.
rewatched it to get ready for this, and I'm like, this is a really great movie. It's dark. It's like a dark comedy because it's a slasher film as
Yeah,
well. But it's a broken lizard slasher film. So,
that's awesome. No, I have
but I
not
liked
seen
the I
that
liked
one.
the I liked the lighter side of some Bill Paxton.
Yes. And we're gonna get to some lighter. There's a lighter one for me as well. But my number five is not light at all. As a matter of fact, he's quite a jerk because I've also chosen Chet Donnelly from Weird Science, but he's
You have
my
to.
number
I mean,
five. So here's the question. Which Chet Donnelly do you prefer more? The human or the slug guy? Makes you wonder, huh?
I know. I mean, is that is hard because he does get a this is gonna he does get a little softer
He
as
does. That's why I was asking you.
the big pile. I don't know. Maybe it's just that he has the incredible arc in that movie.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
He's
I don't know.
so much fun. He was
I,
perfect in that movie. I mean,
yeah,
this
I
is
don't know
like,
that we would love him as much if it wasn't for the jerk
yeah,
Chet.
exactly. And he deserved it for sure. But this was right
Absolutely.
before or right when he was starting to hit his stride. And he was one of these people that pretty much every scene that he's in, he steals. And I thought he was great. And I will have to say, I don't know how much of a Weird Science fan you are. Did you watch the TV series?
I don't think I knew
No.
if there was a TV
Oh yeah,
series.
there's a
So
great
I'm
TV
guessing
series. Vanessa
who.
Angel from Kingpin plays the
Hmm.
Vanessa character. But anyway, the the Chet character in that movie is also, I mean, that series is also really good. But
Oh, okay.
you miss it. But yeah, have you ever seen it? I think it came on USA. And
Oh,
there's a
okay. I
couple
do
of
love some good
seasons.
USA shows.
Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, I looked it up just the other day because I saw something and it reminded me. Now, this was back in the early 90s, before Scream ever came out. They have an episode where the guys are talking about the rules of a horror movie and what you
You're
shouldn't do.
kidding.
And she transports them into a slasher movie to see if it all is true. So
Oh, that's
anyway, I just thought that
hilarious.
was real. Somebody from Scream must have been watching that and said, "That's a great idea."
No kidding. And I
Yeah.
will say Weird Science does have one of the best theme songs
Oh
of
yeah,
the 80s
Oingo
movie.
Boingo and Danny Elfman.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, and it has one
Side
of the
note,
best
I'm
endings too. Um,
I'm trying to go see. Is it? No, never mind.
okay,
Delete that. All right,
delete
go
that.
ahead.
Cut it out. All right. Well, to distract us from that, how about you give us your number four?
All right, number 4 is one that I honestly do not ever remember seeing until I think I finally watched it last weekend,
Oh, good.
and I was blown away. I cannot believe how disappointed I am at myself for never having seen this movie
Well, he
before.
has
But it
99
is the
roles.
well, I mean, yeah, but he is with um two stellar other actors known as Kevin Bacon and Tom Hanks, and it is the movie Apollo 13.
Yes, you'd never seen that one, huh?
I had never seen that movie, and
So
I
good
think
in that.
it's probably because I was a tad bit traumatized by Space Camp when I was young.
Hmm.
So any
The
movies about
movie, or you
astronauts,
went to space camp?
no, the movie. So I think so that kind of stresses me. Like I still have never seen Gravity, and I don't want to because it's
Oh yeah.
just stressing me out too much. But I absolutely love this movie, and especially I know you know that I'm an Auburn girl, even though we're not
Wait,
talking sports.
is that football? That's the Americans throwing the ball, right? Oh, I didn't know
Right.
that.
I didn't realize until later that the character played by Gary Sinise in that movie, which
Mhm.
to me technically is the one that got them home. Like
Right.
he's the one that's the true hero. He's an Auburn University graduate as well.
What? Oh,
I know.
is he still, is he married? I mean, have you reached out? I'm just,
I think he's probably been deceased for quite a while.
ah. No, I mean, wait, so is Sinise an Auburn? Because
Oh
Gary
no,
Sinise
the
is,
character,
oh,
the
okay, yeah.
character, the extra astronaut that it's based off
Oh,
of.
I got you. I was
Maddie,
confused. I thought you were like, loving after some Gary Sinise, and I'd be like, go girl.
I I do
The
love Gary
answer's,
Sinise.
yeah.
I loved me some CSI New York.
Mm-hmm. To say the answer's always no if you don't ask. So,
No, I think the character's name was Mattingly, maybe.
oh, okay, yeah, he was the one
Um,
who kind of thought he had the flu and then ended up not.
exactly,
He's in the
exactly.
the
But yeah,
capsule figuring out how to get the absolute lowest voltage or wattage or amperage or
yeah, that's why I say I feel like if he wasn't there doing that job, they never
yeah.
would have made it home.
Between
But no,
him
I
and
thought
the engineers that
well,
took all of the parts and figured out how to put a square filter into a round canister or vice versa.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But to talk about Bill Paxton in this movie, like he had to really play up the fact that he was sick up there.
Mhm.
And I thought he did a really good job of um handling that because that couldn't have been fun or easy to do. So I just thought he did an incredible job.
Yeah.
And like I said, that was a
And
great movie.
in real life, I mean, they were on the Vomit Comet, so there could have definitely been some. But for me,
Mm-hmm.
and this one's not on my list, but it is a great one. One of the greatest things about that role is that he holds himself responsible for the accident, even though no one was responsible. It was
Right.
just an accident. And so you kind of wonder, like when is getting sick and everything, how much of that is psychosomatic, where he's just, you know, getting all of this stuff going on inside of him. Plus, he's literally in outer space. So no,
Right.
I can't agree with you more. This is a wonderful, wonderful role, and he does it a great justice. So, all right, well, I'm going to oppose that one. He was an astronaut, and in this movie, he is a doctor. And I'm talking about the extreme Dr. Bill Harding from Twister in 1996. That, yeah.
It's a decent movie. That's a joke.
See?
It's on my list. We just
Oh,
haven't got
okay,
to it
okay
yet.
then. All right, all right. I love this movie. I have it in different formats. It was right in the time when I had a crush on Helen Hunt. Cow, one of the best lines ever. I love this movie. We won't talk about any more of it. We'll wait until we get to yours. But I will say that you have amazing taste. So let's move on to your number 3 then.
Absolutely. All right. My number 3 is a teeny, teeny, tiny little movie. I do have a couple of trivia nuggets to see if you can guess what movie this is.
Okay.
Um,
I'm ready for it.
the movie probably saved 20th Century Fox.
Aliens.
Dang it. That's the only clue you needed. I was gonna say he almost lost a finger in this movie because apparently Hendrickson like cut him when they did the
Yeah.
knife scene. uh and another one I love the Aliens franchise, but it's not
Yes.
one that I watch over and over again. I've
Uh-huh.
seen it more recently, but still I didn't remember. I mean, I love Michael Biehn. So, he's the male figure that I remember from the movie most.
Uh-huh.
So when I went back and watched this, I'm like, I love Bill Paxton in this movie. So that's how it made it up to number 3 on my list.
Yes. This
And a
it's
lot of his lines he said were improvised
I'd
in
heard
that
that
movie
too
too.
as well. James Cameron supposedly gave them a lot of latitude in it, and obviously he loved what he did because he brought him back for Titanic.
Oh,
and for True
absolutely.
Lies. So
Yes,
I
that
mean,
was going to be my other trivia note. Is this was the third? I think no, this was the fourth movie that they worked on together. Aliens was.
what was the fourth one then?
There's
True Lies.
Titanic, True Lies, Terminator,
Oh, that's
and
true. Very
then
beginning,
this one.
Arnold gets his clothes.
Yep,
Yeah, yeah, you're
yep.
right. You're right.
And funny thing is, when I went to LA with the Longbox crew guys for the James Bond
Uh-huh.
podcast they did, we went to the Griffith Observatory and we were
Oh,
like, where's that scene where the Terminator was? So we
yes.
technically were at the same location.
That's cool. I did the same thing when I went. Yeah. All right. Well, that's a great one. Well, my number three is one that we've already discussed. But one of the things that you didn't mention that for me makes it really, really cool. I am talking about 2001's Frailty, where he plays
Oh,
Daddy
okay.
Meeks, and
Mm-hmm.
but he was also the director of this film.
Oh,
Did
okay.
you know that?
I feel like I remember noticing that. I I do remember. I think is this the one that his father was in with him as well,
You know,
or is that a different
I'm
movie?
not sure. I know he directed five of his own films or five of his own things.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to say it yet, but I don't know if he was
Oh,
in it or
okay.
not. But one of the
Okay.
favorite things that he ever directed, I'll save that to the end. Um,
Gotcha.
but Frailty, the greatest game ever played, and Tattoo, which was a short, he directed all of those in the 2000s. But the thing that you touched on that I just have to really relay is if you could find this movie, I picked it up off of eBay just to rewatch it. Man, it's amazing because, we're sitting here and we're watching him as a young man, and then his sons, who older after he died, really still trying to piece together, was their dad crazy and a serial killer? Or did
Mm-hmm.
dad really get these messages from God or from angels or whatever, you think it is? Was he killing people or was he in fact killing demons? And I
Right.
love the way that that movie strings you along the whole time because you feel
Mm-hmm.
like the kids do what's real and what wasn't. These people are
Right.
dead, but you know, were they people or were they demons? So I
Right.
love his portrayal in this one. He doesn't have very much of any humor in it, which is
Oh, yeah,
not
definitely
like
not.
him at all. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just had to pick it, had to put it on there because it's got so much of who you really think Bill Paxton is, not only as a director,
Mm-hmm.
'cause it's got to be hard directing yourself.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. I would think
yeah,
so.
especially in a movie, this intense.
Mm-hmm.
But no,
And
I,
I love, I mean, as the director, the twist that they do at the end
mhm,
totally had me. I'm like,
totally.
oh,
Yes. Yeah, it's actually on my long list where I'm doing movies with a twist. And when
oh, okay.
I didn't have it on there, and when I rewatched it for this
Mm-hmm.
show, I was like, oh, let me go over to that page and put it.
It's funny
That's
how that'll happen when we're
it
doing
is.
these, isn't it?
I keep this with me all the time because I'm constantly like, okay, well, let me see. Oh yeah, 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 there it is. So it keeps me busy. But speaking of keeping busy, well, let's take a little pause here right quick. So we are talking about, well, you talked about just a minute ago, the Long Box Crusade, guys. So why don't
Mm-hmm.
you tell everybody a little bit about that? Because I know that you're on a couple of shows for sure. You're a shooter at one point, or
Yes, a
sniper.
sniper.
Sniper,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
On
tell us a
action.
little bit
Yep.
about the Long Box Crusade and what y'all do and where people can hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually I just recorded an episode with the guys last week. I think it was last week. I'm on there quarterly on Action Film
Mhm.
Face Off, uh, which
Which
is
is a
one of my
great
favorite shows
idea.
on the network.
Oh,
Yes, they take just two random years. The two brothers, Albrecht, they each bring a year, an action film from that year. We discuss them, five different categories. They rate them, and then I give a sniper bullet to whichever one I felt had better action scenes or better hero or better villain. So it's a lot of fun.
yeah.
This last one was good. We discussed Equilibrium, which is a movie I had never seen before,
Okay.
and Pitch Black, which is a movie that I have loved for years.
Oh yeah.
So I won't spoil who wins the battle, but I
Right.
do that show with them, and then I actually have my own show on the network now.
Right.
It was started before me, but I kind of took it over from someone that had moved on to do some other things.
And you
And
hit the
it's
body
why
well.
how exactly. It's how we met and how we started talking is because it's a show about Sherlock Holmes.
Yep.
It's about the 84 to 94 Granada series with Jeremy Brett. And we talk about 2 regular episodes. Sometimes we'll do a movie length version episode. And we just talk about and discuss our love for Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how we got, like you said, it got to be on episode 101 where you get to talk about them. I
Absolutely.
actually live on Granada Drive. So
That's amazing.
there you go. Send
So
me
you could
something, I'll get it stamped.
dress the house up like Sherlock, like 221B.
That's it. That's it. Not 221A, because that place
Oh,
is woof. I don't want to.
it's awful.
So where can people find y'all?
It is on the Longbox Crusade Network, and they have some other shows as well. They have a show about Transformers, a show about Spider-Man. They do live streams
G.I.
once
Joe?
a month. G.I. Joe. Yeah, there's all sorts. They do a Saturday matinee theater. They do some radio shows
Yeah.
where they talk about some old radio broadcasts. So they're they're a little bit old school in, their
You could just say
themes. But
old. Yeah, because that's what.
I'm one of the older ones, so I can't say that. But it's a great network. The guys are great. I'm so happy and proud to be a part of that group because they're really great guys, and I appreciate them greatly, including me in their family. So,
Well, y'all do a great job, and it's a lot of fun. I listened to one not too long ago. I think it was might have been an older one where y'all did is it Blind Fury? And
I
another,
believe.
what was that?
I don't know if I was on that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant in general that
Yeah, no,
they
I
did
was trying to which is leading me to, I can't remember what the second movie was.
Yeah, but that was a lot of fun because I love that movie, and Rutger Hauer is a lot of fun in that film. He really is.
Oh wait, I was on that. Is that the one where he's a detective?
It's the one where he's blind. He comes back from
Then
Vietnam.
no, that's not the one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Okay, no,
remember
I wasn't on that one. Yeah, I don't remember what the other movie was, because I did one. The one before this was a Rutger Hauer movie, and I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, and
He
then
was a detective,
you were on
or no,
one.
it was a bounty hunter.
Oh yeah, yeah, no. I listened to that one too because wasn't it both bounty hunters? Both movies were bounty hunters or something like that. Anyway, people are saying, yeah, go on. But anyway, again, it's Long Box Crusade. You can pick it up where pretty much anybody is streaming. They're on X/Twitter. Like you said, the Albrecht brothers are
Yep, all the
awesome.
podcasts are on Apple, Spotify, and they have them on YouTube as well. So
yeah, so y'all check them out and check Kathy out and tell her hi.
absolutely.
Right, so let us jump back in, and I think we are now at your second favorite, your penultimate Bill Paxton role. Say that every episode, I get a quarter.
And actually, that's a very appropriate word, because one reason I put this so high on my list is because we get a lot of Bill Paxton in this. So I chose the TV series Big Love.
Look at you.
I just rewatched the entire series, all 5 or 6 seasons. And it is just, I loved the show when it first aired, and I loved it again, and I hated the same characters that I hated when I first watched it. But I love Bill Paxton. I mean, is he a little bit of, misogynist? But but
I mean,
it's about polygamy. What do you expect?
You can back
But he
it
does
up.
such a great job. Yeah.
I
He
love
does
the
such
fact
a
that
great job in this show.
his character's last name was Henriksen.
I know. I didn't even think of that until I was doing the prep for this, and I was like, oh yeah, okay.
So I've never seen it, but I did hear it was done very well.
It really was. You get all sides of him. And it's
All
not
sides of him, huh?
not the well, this is true. They're a little heavier on that in the first season. It kind
Uh-huh.
of dwindles out a little bit throughout the series, but
They make a pill for
and
that.
it's just oh, that's a whole couple of episodes is the fact
Oh,
that he's to keep up with 3 wives.
yeah.
There is some pills involved, and which leads him to the emergency room. But it's just great. It's I actually was listening to an interview with him about it today, and he said, originally he didn't want to accept the role or didn't want to be a part of it because he said the way it was presented to him was he thought that it was kind of going to be like bashing people's beliefs or something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
But once he read the script, he realized that hang on, let me look at my note how he actually worded it. So I took notes.
Oh, look at you.
He said it's
See
to
that,
put a
Mark
human.
Sino? People take notes before they come on the show. I'm
I'm a
sorry,
big
please
note taker.
continue.
He said it's like putting a human face on something a lot of people are wary of and think that it's a cult. So that's kind of what the reason why he did agree to do the role. He said, everybody's beliefs is just as legitimate as everybody else's.
Right.
And when he originally thought it was going to be like bashing someone's belief, he didn't want to be a part of it. But once he saw the actual script, he said, I like the way this is done. And he agreed to work on the project. And he loved the role. And I did as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. I haven't seen that one, but again, I heard a lot of good things about it.
It
So
actually won him or he got a Golden Globe nomination
really,
from that role. He did.
wow, that's awesome. That's a good choice. That's a good choice. I'll have to go and watch some of it. Um, okay, so now we're going to go to my number two, and I am just going to say, oh God, I can't believe this wasn't higher on your list. Simon in True Lies
I
is,
know. I'm sorry.
and I understand it. You've already made your case, and I'm accepting of that. But oh my God, he is so wonderful in this role. I mean, he's slimy and swarthy, and then he's,
Mm-hmm.
you have that whole scene on the bridge where they're hanging upside down, and he pees on himself and everything, and it's, and then all of this stuff goes haywire, and you're like, there's so much to think about for the rest of the movie, and then at the very end, you're at the, at the
He's
party, and
back.
he's back. Oh my God, this guy never learns. But this is just it is the nearly perfect role. Um,
And I
y-
think it's great because it seems like the complete opposite
oh yeah,
of Bill Paxton.
oh yeah, that mustache. Oh my God, you know. But the great thing is like he's like every scene that he's in, all eyes are on him because you're like, what is he doing next? When he gets Jamie Lee Curtis in the trailer and just all that stuff.
Right.
Oh my God. It was I love, love, love that role. And I will forgive you because you didn't have it higher. I will
I,
probably always hold it against you a little bit in my heart,
that's okay. But
but
it
I'm gonna
was
work.
on the list.
He was on the
So
list. So,
that's
that's
right.
okay. That's okay. But oh, just he does such a good job in this one. And you get just enough of it. You don't need, sometimes they bring in this, the crazy characters or whatever, and they overuse them. Chef's
Right.
kiss. Yeah, just the right amount of Bill Paxton in
I
this
will
role.
agree, and I do not fault you for having it that high on your list. I expect it's probably higher on a lot of people's list than mine.
Yeah, yeah. But that's okay because this is all about favorites. And
Absolutely.
now I'm going to ask you, what is your absolute favorite right at this moment that could change tomorrow if someone's to ask you again? Bill Paxton role.
It is not going to change tomorrow. It has
Oh,
been my favorite Bill Paxton movie since 1996. It was
well, that's
the
strong words.
It's the first movie that I bought the DVD for my surround sound back
And
in
what a
whenever they
choice.
first came out. I know. Yeah, because apparently I didn't realize one of the notes was that film was notorious for destroying surround speakers in theaters
Yeah.
when it was released. But that is the one and only Twister. It is that
Yes.
movie that when it's on TV, I have to stop and watch it.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's just kind of like National Treasures that for me with Nicolas Cage or
Oh,
Face Off.
okay.
It's I guess I shouldn't have said that in case we'd ever talk about Nicolas Cage. But I know it's such an odd choice because it wasn't a super like critical hit or
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe it's kind of got a cult following now, but
Yeah.
I've
Well,
loved
they're
this
making a
movie. He's
sequel.
charming. True. I'm still not I'm
Yeah, I'm
still
I'm
don't know
I'm
if I'm
just
on board
saying,
for that or not.
yeah. They'll never
Well,
replace it,
because
that's for sure.
originally, no. I guess because I'm not really because I haven't really dove into that. I'm not sure if it's a sequel or a remake. I think it's
I
sequel.
think it's sequel.
I think so too. And I think it may be like their kid or something. If
Uh-huh.
if that is true, then I'm happy about it.
Right.
But the trailer looks exactly like the
It
original movie.
does.
So that's why
It
I'm like,
does.
what is
Surprised
this?
somebody doesn't pull out a leather belt at some type and tie it around something.
I know, and I mean, he's so charming in this. You see, um, you see depth when he's like telling her, "Look at me, I'm right in front of you, out in
Yeah.
the rain," and I just absolutely love this movie.
Well, with good reason. I mean, he plays a very intelligent person who lives in a
Hmm.
very dangerous or used to live in a very dangerous world. And he gets
Right,
pulled back into it, and he is the voice of reason until he gets it back into his blood. And then
absolutely.
here comes the extreme again. You know,
Hmm.
I it is also one of those movies that I will stop and watch. I'll also bring up Nelson again. Nelson recently bought his first VCR in 20 plus years, bought a brand new VCR that was still in the box from like early 2000s, put it all
Uh-huh.
together, and Twister was the VHS tape that we put in. And let me tell
Absolutely.
you, he's got like the setup. I mean, he's got everything, and the surround THX 1138 surround sound or whatever it's called.
Right.
And that movie still rocks, even on VHS. I mean,
I
it's
believe
just
it.
a wonderful movie, And
The
Helen
cast
Hunt,
is
of course,
incredible.
yeah. Helen
Yeah.
Hunt, of course, gets, a lot of credit, but Jamie Gertz is fantastic in it. I mean,
I love some Jamie
you
Gertz.
know,
Yeah.
and like you said, the supporting cast is wonderful. You've got um what's his
Philip
name
Seymour
from,
Hoffman,
yeah. And then the
Carrie
guy from,
Elways.
oh, he was the captain in Star Trek Generations, and he was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh,
Um,
I don't know his act. Cameron is his name
yeah,
from Ferris
Cameron,
Bueller,
right?
but I can't
Um,
think of his real name. Ruck, something
yeah,
Ruck.
Alan Ruck. Look at
Okay,
us,
yeah,
go team!
I know. Yay!
But anyway,
Yeah, I
that
adore
is a
him too.
fantastic choice. I could not agree with you more.
Yeah,
It's
the
not my
sad thing
favorite.
is now two of those people are no longer with us,
Yeah,
Mr. Bill and Mr. Hoffman.
yeah,
So
yeah. So, all right. Well, before we get to my number one, I would like to throw out
yes,
some words here, and I want you to tell me
okay.
what you think or if you've seen them or whatnot. Um, let's see. So you hadn't seen that one. Um, Next to Kin.
I started watching it,
Uh-huh. It's a hard watch.
and I stopped watching it when he was no longer going to be in it.
It's something
It
else. I
is
mean, it's got quite a cast in it, and a lot
absolutely,
of
and
them
it's
play
him and Helen
hillbillies.
Hunt together again.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. I think
Okay.
I got to the scene where Patrick Swayze was at the train station and like
Oh, okay.
saying hey to all of his relatives. That's all,
All right.
as far
So
as I
you didn't
got.
get
I
to
didn't
the
get that far.
graveyard, the cemetery scene.
Oh no, oh no,
Oh,
thank goodness.
that's a good one. Okay.
Especially
Um,
now, because sometimes once a actor is passed and you see something like that in a film with them, that it's
yeah, yeah, that's
much more
true.
difficult.
Okay. Predator 2.
I rewatched that this
Okay.
weekend. And again, I stopped after a certain point when I knew he
Okay.
was no longer going
Right.
to be with us.
Navy SEALs.
One of my absolute favorite movies.
Okay.
The only
Right.
reason it's not in my top 5 is just because it's a smaller role. So, but
Okay.
that
That's 50
I did
cents.
want that. Yeah. What did I said top 5? Sorry. But yes, I've always loved Navy SEALs.
Okay. It surprises me that Titanic's not on your list.
It surprises me too. Again, I think only because of the small role for him.
Yeah.
As a whole, if we were gauging favorite movies with Bill Paxton
Yeah.
versus favorite Bill Paxton roles, Titanic would probably be on that
And it
list.
is a
I saw
big
it 3
distinction.
times at the theater.
Oh,
I saw
wow.
it 3
Really?
times at the theater when it first came out. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's good. Well, let me ask you this. Did you ever get to do the Twister experience at Universal?
No.
I
I've
did.
only been to I've only been to Universal once, and it
Oh,
was
okay.
Universal out in California,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and I was probably like 10 years old, so
Yeah.
there was no such thing as Twister back then.
I went like in 98. When did
Oh,
it
okay.
come out? When did
Yeah, the movie came out in 96.
It was probably right around there. So right around there. And it was really great because it was a real one of those experiences where you walk through and they create tornadic activity
Mm.
around you and it rains and
Hmm.
it was really, really neat. Um, all right, Spy Kids.
I tried.
Yeah, that was a hard one. That was a hard one.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. Um, and did you see that he was in an episode of the original Miami Vice?
I almost went back and watched that, but no, I definitely do not remember.
Yeah, it was probably a
I
small
think
role.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um a couple that I watched that I'd never seen, if I can name a couple. Did you have any more you
Yes.
wanted
Nope.
to
Go right ahead.
bring up? I had never seen A Simple Plan.
Oh, that's a good
Him,
one.
yes, that I did enjoy that movie, but it stressed me out.
Well,
I wanted to
yeah,
punch Billy Bob Thornton in the face multiple times. Um,
there's several of his movies like that. But anyway,
yes, another tiny, tiny role, but again, it's one of my favorite movies that has Bill Paxton in it is
uh-huh.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I
So
haven't
it's a
seen
small
that
role.
one. Like, God, for what was that one about?
That was the one with Tom Cruise, the alien
Oh, yeah,
invasion.
yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah, yeah.
not War of the Worlds. It
Right.
was
He
the other
had
one.
the weird mustache in that one.
Yes, he was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
yeah, he was the commander of the group that
yeah.
Tom
You're right.
Cruise
Now I
was
remember
being
that one.
sent
Yeah,
to.
he was again small role but powerful.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And for the ladies, Indian Summer, it's a good Bill Paxton role. It's got a great cast about a bunch of adults go back to a camp that they all met at when they were kids, like
Uh-huh.
8 to 10-year-old kids, and they go back as an adult to the same camp.
Oh, okay.
But U571 is another.
It is.
He's in the first, maybe 20 minutes, and
Mhm.
it's a military role that I think he does a great job at,
Yeah,
because he's having to be stern. He's having to tell somebody why they didn't get the promotion that they thought they deserve, and ends up teaching a lesson in the whole process. So
yeah.
I recently rewatched that too, and that's another one I wanted to bring up.
Good. Well, before we get to my number one, I did want to bring up
Yes.
the dark horse that I wanted to
Hmm.
bring up at the very end. His directorial debut is Fish Heads, the
I've
video
heard him talk about
from
this, but
Barnes and Barnes.
I
You
have not gone to watch it.
you've heard the song though?
I think is that like fish heads, tiny little
Fish
fish.
heads, roly
Okay.
poly fish heads. Oh my gosh. I want to say
I had no idea.
it was one of the very first videos that played on MTV. It wasn't
Oh.
the Boggles or whatever video, but I want to say it was like
Mhm.
day one it
Hmm.
played because it came out in
Then
I
I
think in
definitely have
80.
probably saw it when I was a kid because
Yeah,
I'm
it's
a Duran
weird.
Duranny,
It is
so I
weird. But
I
if
was
you ever
all
get a
about.
chance to check that out, there's some horror movies
Okay.
that he's in that I won't even bring up though. But
Well, now there are two that I started watching. I haven't
uh-huh.
finished, and they seemed very interesting. Which may be two. Well, one's not a horror movie, I don't think. Slipstream
Yeah,
has him.
Slipstream,
It
that's
has
the one with Mark Hamill, right?
yes. It looked
Yeah.
very interesting. He's very like
Yeah.
chill, bro.
It's
Um, and I actually started watching Brain Dead,
okay.
and
I forgot to bring that one up. That's the Bill,
I
the
really
Bill times two
like
movie.
exactly, and I really enjoyed the first part of it, and I was getting distracted by other things. I was like, no, I was like, I actually kind of really want to watch this, sit down, and not focus on anything
Yeah,
else. So
yeah, because
those are
that's a
both.
trippy movie. Bud Cort, I think, is in that movie too. He was the young man in Harold and Maude, which was I think a late 70s movie about a young kid and a very old lady who end up
Mhm.
meeting at a funeral, and they have like this very strange relationship, and they end up going to funerals of people they don't know, and it's kind of a coming of age story,
Yeah,
it's
I've
the
heard the
it's
title, but I've never
yeah,
watched it.
it's a good one. But I think he was in that movie. He's a strange looking little fella.
Okay.
But anyway, that's a great one. And did you know he was the radio operator in Pat Benatar's Shadows of the Night video?
I have heard that, and I'm trying to remember which video because everybody knows "Love Is a
That's the one from
Battlefield," but I don't know.
World War II where she's flying like a yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, and she's got the headband
Mhm.
wrapped around her
Yeah,
head.
he's the
God, I
one
haven't
that's
seen that
back at
video
the
in forever.
base. Yeah, yeah. So anyway.
Okay, I need to
All
go
right, well,
rewatch it because I like some Pat Benatar.
yeah. I did all of that because we could tear up some space because my number one is also from Aliens. It
Oh,
is
okay, okay.
my absolute favorite role of all times. Game over, man. Game over. Um, Private Hudson was the epitome of what we would all be if
Oh,
we went
100%.
yeah to LV428. It's like, okay, no, 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 no. This is not what I signed up for. Are you kidding me? This little kid survived. We'll put her in charge, He had so many great lines in that movie.
He really did.
But when it came down to it, he was a hero. And
Absolutely.
he put up instead of shutting up. And I love this role for him. Again, it's one of those things where the movie is a perfect movie as far as I'm concerned.
I
It
agree.
is
And I did not remember how much or how great that movie was until I rewatched it
I know,
recently.
right?
So,
And there's so many. One of the reasons it makes it so great is because there's again, I'm always about special effects, and
mhm,
there's no or very extremely small digital effects in that movie. I mean, it was the
mhm.
80s, the early, mid 80s at most. So everything in there was hand done, and it evoked the feeling. I mean, when the queen shows up, you're seeing her and them looking at the queen, not at some tennis ball on the end of a stick, and
Right, right.
Cameron was just he was on fire for this movie, and every person in it was perfectly
Mhm.
cast. I just all of that stuff comes together to make Private Hudson in Aliens my favorite.
Absolutely.
Bill Paxton role.
I didn't realize until on this rewatch that Vasquez is the same actress who is in Terminator 2.
Right? John Connor's
She
mom,
plays, yeah,
stepmom, or
I had,
foster mom. So
yeah,
you
I
you
never
may
would have
not.
known because she looks super hot in Aliens. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, she's butch and like, you go, girl. She's
So
not that cute in
interestingly,
Terminator 2.
she is also you're not a big Trekkie, but do you know Star Trek Generations? The
Oh, yeah, I'm much more of a
I know,
Trekkie
I'm
than I
just
am Star
stabbing you.
Wars. Oh, okay.
So you remember when they're on board the Enterprise B and Alan Ruck is the captain? Jeanette Goldstein,
Yes.
the actress, she is the communications officer. Okay. And she has this
Oh,
big
okay.
head of red curly hair. Um, and I tell you this because I got to meet her at a convention in Dallas, and
What?
it was Vasquez and her counterpart. I can't remember his name, but the two of them with the big guns, they were both there.
Uh-huh.
Well, I made a custom action figure of that security officer, and I did the backing board and everything to it and got her to sign it. And she
Uh-huh.
was very, very cool about it. It was just,
Oh, that's so
you know,
cool.
so James Cameron, loves Jeanette Goldstein. So not only
Oh
is
yeah,
she in Terminator
apparently.
2 and she's in Aliens, she's also in Titanic. If you blink, you miss it. But
Oh, what is
there's a
she in
quick
Titanic?
scene. She is one of the Irish immigrants with her two
She
kids.
is. She's the ones with the kids that end up in the bed, like as it's
That's
going.
right.
It sure is
Yeah.
her.
And she's
Oh
in one
wow.
she's something else. God, what was that other movie that she was in?
She was in the one we were talking about, Near Dark.
Near
She's
Dark.
one of the
Yep.
vampires.
Yep.
Hmm.
And she was in something else that Cameron did. Can't remember what it was. But yeah,
While
he
you're looking for that, I was going to say one of the things you were talking about practical with aliens is I did not realize one of the trivia notes I saw was that the set for Aliens
mhm.
is the same set they used for Batman 1989.
Really? I
And
didn't
when
know
they
that.
went, apparently what I read, I think I found this on IMDb, is that when the set people went there, they still had a lot of the same, like the pods and all that kind of stuff left over from the Aliens set,
Wow, that's cool. I
which
didn't
I
know
thought was
that.
pretty cool. And also talking about practical, one of the notes I saw about Twister, that one of the reasons the director did this movie is because he realized this would be a last opportunity to do things practically.
Uh-huh.
Um, because I think CGI was really starting to hit their stride, and he wanted to do as much as possible practically
Yeah.
instead of with a lot of CGI.
You know,
Was that movie?
there's so many people who think that you could just, punch it up in a computer and make it, and you really can't. I mean, there are some things that can be done that way, but especially with horror, you've got to build that
Mm-hmm.
creature in front of you, you know. You've got to have
Yeah.
those true explosions. It's I don't know. It's
And
something
I
else.
think they definitely each have their place because I'm a big fantasy person. And without
Right.
digital technology, I don't know that,
When I had the Lord of the
things like
Rings.
absolutely. And I think Peter Jackson is a god for what he did with Lord of the Rings. But
Mhm.
that's just my opinion.
Well, you have a great opinion and you have great taste in Bill Paxton. That's for sure.
Well,
So
thank you. So do you. I think we pretty much agreed on
thank you.
all of our.
I do. We
I mean,
have some
I don't know
crossover. So
that there was a movie. Yeah, I don't know that there was a movie where I'm like, oh, this is crap. He never should have done this.
so I've never seen Big Love and I've never seen Club Dread. So both of those will have to be on my list. I am surprised with 99 Roles that we had the crossover that we did. But it
Yeah,
just goes to show that, some of his roles were just so memorable that,
yeah,
you
definitely
know,
iconic.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
And like I
Well,
said, I
great.
really wanted to put Weird Science up there, but
Yeah.
it was just because that is, like I said, what the majority of people who are our age or similar,
Yeah.
know him from is Chet. He said in an interview I listened to, he said he still gets Chet. Like he
Oh,
goes,
yeah.
Chet's here with me right now.
That's
So
hilarious. Yeah, it's hard to think he's been gone almost 7 years now. You know,
that's
it's
crazy.
it
It's
is.
sad. It was not a fun day.
No, no. So this is the part of the show where I ask you what we're going to do next, but we covered that at the beginning of the show, and we're going.
Well, oh, and as usual, I've named several uh
You?
several different
No,
ones.
no.
I know. I'm very bad at decision making, Jamie.
Well, that's okay, you know. So which one are we going to do next? Because I've got the Tom Cruise one ready.
Hmm.
So we could do that one, or we can do the one we just put on here, which see, I've
Yeah, and
already
I'm gonna
remembered.
check. I think I had tweeted you another idea as well. So I'm gonna check. Let me check what that was. I mean,
Okay.
I'm fine with going ahead with some Tom Cruise.
All right. Well, if you're good with it, I'm good with it. Let's do Tom Cruise next. Because I think everything else I'm still working on the lists of.
Okay.
But I have Tom Cruise ready. So we will get together in a couple months and do that one, and then we'll pick one of the other, whether it be Carl or Bane or
Okay.
whichever
Maybe
one.
it was maybe it was this one that maybe it was the Bill Paxton thing that was kind of a I think maybe this is the one that came up quicker because we had talked about Tom Cruise before, and I
Yes.
think this is the one where I was like, "Oh, let's do Bill Paxton."
And it was serendipitous because this was last week was his birthday.
I
So
know, absolutely
it'll
perfect
be perfect.
timing because
And and this
absolutely.
will come out Friday, which will be
Oh wow, quick!
the 24th. Yeah, I'll get it out fast, especially because it's his
You're
birthday.
much quicker editor than I am.
Well,
That's one
usually I
reason I
have
only do
several in
mine
the
quarterly. So,
yeah. I had to cancel 9 different recordings because
oh,
I
while
had
you
the
were sick.
flu last week, and then 2 weeks before then, I had this really, really bad cough, and I couldn't string 2 sentences together without coughing. So
Mm.
usually I have stuff in the bank, but
Okay.
plus, I mean, I can't sit on this. I mean, you're amazing, so we got to get it out there. We got to get people
Well,
seeing it
thank
right
you.
away. So we'll be on YouTube, and we'll also be on all the other places that you can get Apple and Spotify and all that. So Kathy, I want to thank you for taking the time to do this. It's been a huge pleasure, and I hope to
Absolutely.
see
I
you
love.
in what 3.5 weeks.
Yep,
So
at Heroes Con, I
Heroes
should be
Con,
there.
I will definitely see some of the other guys, or some of the guys, because you're not a guy. And if you were, that would be okay. I mean, I'm just saying. Um,
I've kind of always been one of the guys
one of
ever
the
since I
guys.
was a kid.
And to all of you out there in the podcast universe, I want to say thank you so much for listening. I know you have a choice in podcasts, and we appreciate you choosing us, no matter how bad it is sometimes. We hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please leave us a review and rating on your favorite podcast app. It's a free way that you can show your love and appreciation for me. I mean, you can send money if you want, but a review would just right, right there, right there. It's a free way you can help to grow the plastic microphone studios. And if you like the show, tell a friend. And if you don't like the show, feel free to write it on the bathroom wall or something. Hey, any publicity is good publicity. We invite you to interact with us on Twitter, X, and it's Fave5 from fans. And new episodes come out every Friday unless I have the flu. So be sure to subscribe and follow us where you catch all of the episodes. And remember, folks, it may not be the best, it may not be the most popular, but if it's your favorite, then it's good enough for us. Thank you for joining us. Miss Kathy, take us out.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.